The weirdest part about escaping the quiet kid trap in high school was realizing that nobody else was keeping me there. I thought everyone at school had locked me into this invisible prison, but it turns out I was the one that was holding the key, and I didn't even know it. If you've ever sat in class rehearsing one sentence in your head over and over and over again, only for the conversation to end before you finally build up the courage to say it, this video's for you. Because that wasn't just something that I did once, that was my life. I wasn't the funny guy, I wasn't the athletic guy or the smart guy, I was the quiet kid. Not because I wanted to be, but because I genuinely forgot what it was like to speak without overthinking every single word. And it felt like everyone else had received instructions for life, and mine just got lost in the mail. Every morning I'd walk into school feeling like I was entering some sort of stage play where everyone already knew their lines. Groups were laughing, people were yelling across hallways, and someone would randomly walk into class and immediately have 5 people that are excited to see them. Meanwhile, I'd quietly sit down, pretend to check my phone, and hope nobody noticed that I had no one to talk to. And maybe you've done that too, opening your phone even though there's no notifications, scrolling through the same apps you've already checked just to look busy, because looking lonely somehow feels way worse than actually being lonely. And it's funny how you can become so good at acting like you're okay, and I was really good at it. Teachers thought I was focused, my friends thought I was just shy, and classmates thought I liked being alone. Because nobody knew my brain was basically running an Olympic marathon every single day. What if I say something weird? What if they laugh? What if I interrupt? What if they don't hear me? What if they do hear me? Every conversation felt like defusing a bomb, except everybody else somehow already had the instruction manual. The crazy part is that being quiet wasn't even the hardest part. It was what came after, labels. Because once people think you're quiet, they stop giving you chances not to be. It's like wearing an invisible name tag. Oh, he doesn't really like to talk. After enough time, you start believing that's really who you are. Not someone who's struggling, just someone who is quiet. And there's a huge difference. One is temporary, and the other becomes your identity. And identities are dangerous because identities become cages. Imagine someone handed you a backpack when you were 14. It doesn't feel heavy, so you wear it. The next day, someone secretly puts another book inside, and you don't notice. Then another, and then another, and then another, and then years later, you're dragging this 50-pound backpack everywhere, wondering why walking feels so exhausting. That's what insecurity feels like. It isn't one massive event, it's hundreds of tiny moments. The joke nobody laughed at, the text that no one answered, or the time someone interrupted you, the birthday that you weren't invited to, or the group project where nobody picked you first. None of those moments destroy you, but together, they convince you that there's something truly wrong with you. But then something happened that completely changed the way that I saw myself. Not overnight, and not because I suddenly and magically became confident. Actually, it happened because I embarrassed myself while presenting a group project, stumbling over my words, forgetting how to speak, and even forgetting my lines. And the silence felt like it lasted for 5 years. My face turned red and I sat down thinking, great, I'll remember this moment until I'm 90. But then something happened. And that something was that nobody cared. Class continued. People forgot within minutes. Meanwhile, I replayed it for weeks. That's when I realized something terrifying. Nobody was judging me nearly as much as I was judging myself. I had become my own bully, and unlike the bullies you can walk away from, this one lived inside my own head. Take a moment and think about that. If another person spoke to you the way that your own mind does, would you ever want to hang out with them? Imagine introducing yourself. Hey, nice to meet you. The other person immediately says, don't say anything stupid. They already think you're weird. You're embarrassing yourself. You should just stay quiet. You'd leave. Immediately, basically. Yet somehow we accept hearing those things from ourselves every single day. But here's the twist. I thought confidence created action, but I had it backwards. Action creates confidence. That sounds obvious until you actually live it. I kept waiting to feel ready. Ready never came. Confidence isn't like charging your phone. You don't wake up one morning at 100%. It's more like building a muscle. Awkward rep, awkward rep, awkward rep. Eventually, people call you confident. They never saw the reps. So I made myself a deal, not to become popular, not to become the loudest guy, just one uncomfortable thing every day. Ask one question, start one conversation, compliment one person, raise my hand once, and that's it. Tiny, very, very small, stupidly small. Because the goal wasn't changing my personality, it was proving to my brain that I wasn't trapped inside of it. And some days were awful. I'd say something weird, people wouldn't hear me, I'd repeat myself 3 times. I'd walk away cringing at myself so hard my shoulders practically touched my ears, but then something unexpected started happening. The things I feared started happening, and I survived. And that's what changed me. Not success, but survival. Every awkward moment became evidence that awkwardness wasn't fatal. It was just uncomfortable, and there's a huge difference between those two. Here's something nobody tells quiet kids. People aren't avoiding you because you're quiet. Most of them are just as scared as you are. Everyone's trying to protect themselves. Some people hide behind jokes, some hide behind arrogance, some hide behind popularity. Quietness is just another hiding place. Different costume, same fear. When I realized that, everyone suddenly became human. Not judges or critics, just teenagers trying to look like they knew what they were doing. Spoiler, almost none of us did. I truly wish that someone told me this earlier. The version of you that's afraid is not the real you. It's just a version that's never been given enough evidence that it's safe. Think about swimming. Nobody learns by reading about water. Eventually, you have to get in. Confidence works the exact same way. Thinking about conversations never teaches conversations. Only conversations do. And if you're watching this, maybe you're sitting in your room after another school day, wondering why making friends looks effortless to everyone else. Maybe you feel invisible. Maybe you've convinced yourself that this is just your personality. I need you to hear this, that being quiet is not a life sentence. Your personality's not broken. You're not broken. It isn't finished. You're still becoming the person you'll eventually meet, and that's very exciting. Because future you probably isn't worried about the same things present you is. Present you just can't see that yet. Now, looking back, escaping the quiet kid trap didn't happen because everyone suddenly liked me. It happened because I stopped asking permission to exist. I stopped measuring every word before I said it. I stopped assuming people were secretly against me. Little by little, the prison disappeared. Not because someone unlocked the door, but because I finally realized it had never been locked in the first place. The lock was fear, and the key was action. And every uncomfortable conversation turned it one click at a time. So if you're the quiet kid, the one who feels invisible, the one who thinks confidence belongs to everyone else, I want you to remember one thing. You don't become confident before you start speaking. You become confident because you start speaking. That's the trap. But that's also the escape.